Oh, okay. This is the crux of our workshop. We started off with popular notions and now we want to rate them. So you have been given the table at the end of the first day itself, so I guess by now you should be quite skilled enough to do your own ratings. I assume that each individual would have done his or her own rating. Now is the time for you to get into your groups and come up with a group rating. Okay? So please start your discussion. I hope you all have arrived at the conclusion for each group. So let's now have consensus of everybody. So you should know by now whether it is from the suttas. One means it's directly from the sutta. Number two means it's not in the sutta, not directly stated in the sutta, but can be inferred from another sutta. Number three is it's from the commentary. And number four is none of the above. It's not in the sutta, it's not implied in the suttas, it's not from the commentary, but it is somebody's personal opinion, either yours or your teachers or whoever. Now, I must remind you that our root sutta for this table is on page 54, Tatiya-samādhi Sutta. AN 4.94. It is in this sutta that the Buddha defined explicitly samatha and vipassana and the steps involved in their development. Unfortunately, he did not define several things. He did not define the object of samatha, and he defined the object of vipassana but did not actually say what it was. He said sankhara, but what is sankhara? It was not defined. And how to view, how to investigate, and how to distinctly see sankhara also not defined. Whatever that we come up with regarding these two aspects, these 2 points, cannot be directly from the sutta. They are all either implicit in other suttas, which talk about sankharas, but which do not contain the word vipassana or samatha. Right? Either they are implicit in other suttas or they are from the commentaries. Or if they are not from the commentaries either, then they must be personal opinion. Okay? And so let's start. The aim of samatha, calmness, peacefulness, tranquility. Is this 1, 2, 3, or 4? How many say it's 1? Hands up. How many say it's 2? 3. It's quite obvious, right? It is in the Tatiya-samādhi Sutta, where the Buddha talked about the internal tranquility of mind, or internal stillness of mind. Maybe you should change the word tranquility to stillness, because there is another Pali word for tranquility that has been translated from passaddhi. Passaddhi has been translated as tranquility in this book, and we don't want to confuse that with this samatha. Samatha should actually be translated as stillness. So in a context where you find tranquility as a translation for samatha, please change it to stillness. All right, so this is 1. We go on to the next one. Concentration, focus as the aim of samatha. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Anyone say it's 1? 2, 3, 4. Why do you say it's 1? Which sutta says so? Okay, one participant said it's because the word samadhi is there, and samadhi is translated as concentration. Well, samadhi may be the last step in the process of stilling the mind. But that is not the aim of samatha. The aim of samatha is internal stillness of mind. Samadhi is one of the steps, the fourth step. The result of samadhi is internal stillness of mind. You get it? There's a little subtle difference there. There are 4 steps involved. The first step is steady the mind. Second is to settle the mind. Third is to unify the mind. And the last one is to compose the mind. Or to be more literal, to make the mind stand properly, sit properly, to unify it, and to bring and place it properly. All right? So when you complete all these 4 steps, then it results in internal stillness of mind. So this is not directly from the sutta, even though you translate samadhi as concentration. All right? So what would you say? It's 2, 3, 4? Huh? 3? 3. So 3, I don't know whether you could say it is 3, maybe. Again? Popular notion. So it's 4. 4. This is not the aim of samatha. The aim of samatha is internal stillness of mind. In the process, you go through samadhi. Yeah, if you translate samadhi as concentration, it is a 4th step. Yeah, but it is not the aim. It is one of the causes of the aim. Okay, so you could say it's 4. Unified or not scattered. Okay, this is also the 3rd step. The mind is unified, right? Unified in Pali is ekodi. And then there's something very similar to it that's called ekagga. Ekaggata is one-placeness. And one-placeness is sometimes explained as non-distractedness, not scattered. But again, this is not the aim of samatha. This is one of the steps in the process of samatha, one of the steps in the stilling of the mind. So this is also not 1. 4. Stillness of mind. 1. This one is already explained. 1. Okay. Let's go on to next one. Object of samatha. Breath, kasina, 4 Brahma Vihara. What is this? 3. You see, you already know commentary, no need to read also. This is from the Visuddhimagga. Okay, this is 3. And then visualization? Where? 3, 4, 2. Any visualizations? Remember we were looking at the sutta the other day on Advayam? That's straight from the sutta. But you know, the word kasina, or the practice of kasina as we understand it nowadays, is according to the Visuddhimagga. According to the Visuddhimagga, they start off with something natural. If you have done it before in the past life, you just go and sit in front of blue flowers and you look at it and you can get your kasina. If you don't have that past life investment, okay, then you will have to make a blue disc and stare at it and try to visualize it and maintain it in your imagination. That's the way the Visuddhimagga teaches how to practice kasina. But in the Pali Canon, I think there are 1 or 2 suttas where they talk about kasina, and kasina is not making any disc at all. It's just imagining the earth element or imagining that color, that it is non-dual, this appamana, limitless, upwards, downwards, sideways, everywhere. It covers everything in a non-dual way. There's only one place in our Nikayas where you can find the word non-duality, which is so popular in Hindu Upanishads. But in our Buddhist Pali canon, there's only one place where you can find it, and it's about this kasina, non-duality. When you imagine this kasina, you do it limitless. It covers top, bottom, sideways, everywhere. No limit. So there's a sort of visualization, but that comes from the Pali. That is about the only place you can find it. Okay, so maybe this is one. But it cannot be one also. You know why? Because there it didn't say samatha. Do you know? So if it says that you can get some sort of samadhi from there, then the closest you can get is number 2, right? It's an implication. But let me check and see. Okay, the interesting thing is that in this passage from the Majjhima Nikaya, he talks about the 10 kasinas. There's the earth kasina, and then the water kasina, the fire kasina, the air kasina or the wind kasina, the blue kasina, the yellow kasina, red kasina, white kasina, the space kasina, and the consciousness kasina. This list is different from what is given in the Visuddhimagga. Visuddhimagga doesn't have a vijnana or consciousness kasina. So he recognizes or he knows these 10 types of kasina, above, across, in a non-dual way and in a limitless way. No boundaries. So it didn't really mention anything about jhana. Didn't mention anything about samadhi. So cannot even put it as number 2, because it's not really implied. It never says what sort of state one gets into by doing that sort of visualization. MN what? This one does not tell me MN what. It just says Majjhima Panasa. I'll give you the name of the sutta. Mahasakulu Dayi. Mahasakulu Dayi Sutta. Okay, you're going to look that up. Yes.
Samadhi Bhavana Sutta on page 106. There is one which is a perception of light. That one actually can be used as
So it's that number 1. Can be. Yes. So it's not 1 also. 2. Because the word samatha is not mentioned.
But samadhi composure is there, you see? It is the development of composure.
Composure is samadhi. Samadhi.
So samatha is not mentioned. Samadhi Bhavana Sutta.
Samadhi is not
implied.
samatha, it's 2. It's 2. The closest we can get is 2. If it cannot be found in the Tatiya-samādhi Sutta, in AN 4.94, then the closest you can get is 2. Whatever you can find in that AN 4.94, then it is 1. Okay? So, 2. That is perception of light, visualization of light. How about next one? Chanting. Anywhere? No. How about Vimuttayatana Sutta? The basis of liberation. Page 90. You have 4 ways of getting samadhi. One is by listening to the Dhamma, one is by teaching, one is by reciting, one is by reflecting, one is by doing meditation. Right? So here, you can do, by chanting you can get samadhi. So you can say 2. Okay? Mantra. Okay, what is a mantra? In our Pali canon, the word mantra is used for the Hindus. Hindus like to come out with all these, you know what mantras are, right? But mantra is not used in the Pali canon. We can say chanting, but not mantra. Mantra is a non-Buddhist practice. Okay? Non-Pali Buddhist practice. There's one example, Om Mani Padme Om. There are many different types of mantras. So this is not in the Pali Suttas, not in the commentary. So it's 4. Cannot, not 1, 2, 3, must be 4, right? Okay, next one. The object of samatha is concept. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4? 3. It comes from the Visuddhimagga, comes from the commentary. Abhidhamata Sangaha. We go on to the next one, the mode. How does the samatha yogi relate to his object of attention? Here he says, focus on one single object. Where does this come from? 1, 2, 3, 4? 3, right? This comes from the Visuddhimagga. Feature with respect to the 5 senses, cut off 5 senses. Where does this come from? So? Where does this come from? Cut off the 5 senses. 1, 2, 3, 4? 3. Right? Because nothing mentioned about what to do with the 5 senses in Tatiya-samādhi Sutta or in other suttas. Again?
Isn't this the practice of samvara?
Samvara. Or is this the practice of samvara, restraint of the senses? Restraint of the senses does not ask you to cut off the senses. It says you look at how the subjective experiencer relates to those sense input and to restrain it so that it is not overwhelmed by likes and dislikes regarding what is sensed. It's not cutting off, it's guarding the mind door, guarding the subjective experiencer. So this is 3. 3 in the sense that this is the Visuddhimagga idea of the jhana. When you are in the jhana, you cut off the senses. Well, because when they explain on samatha, they talk about samadhi, and when they talk about samadhi, they talk about jhana, right? And they talk about jhana, they talk about this sort of jhana where you are absorbed in an object and you cut off all the 5 senses. So this is from Visuddhimagga. Still the senses, is it the same as cut off or not? What's the difference between still and cut off? Calm the senses. Calm the senses. How to calm the senses? You calm the mind, but you don't calm the senses. The senses cannot be calmed. It is only the mind that is calmed. As long as your sense organs are intact and your mind is in this worldly state, you will have to apprehend all these objects. So this is, it's not even samatha. It's 4. 4. Okay, so state of awareness, restrictive means it's restricted to just one object instead of being aware of many objects. So is this 1, 2, 3, 4? It could be 2. It could be 2 in a sense that if you look at Vimuttayatana Sutta, page 90 again, yeah, you see that if you are listening to the Dhamma talk intently, with full attention, you are actually paying attention to one thing, right? To the Dhamma talk only. Yeah, and if you learn your samadhi nimitta, your meditation subject well enough, you are able to maintain it, then you will get samadhi. So in that way, you could say it's 2. But of course, this sense of restrictiveness does not apply to samatha as a whole. Samatha can have restrictive objects. The state of awareness can be restrictive, but it's not confined to just restrictive awareness. So to say that the state of awareness is restrictive only, then it is not 1 or 2 also. It's not 1 or 2. Maybe let's be more specific and put only, because the popular notion is that it's restrictive only, okay? And that will be, you could say it's 3 because it comes from the Visuddhimagga concept of jhana as absorption. Then we'll go on to thoughts, how to handle thoughts. Now, this is talking about not just evil thoughts, because we know that in Vitakka-santana Sutta, remember? Vitakka-santana Sutta, MN 20, where you have a 5-fold strategy of handling evil, unwholesome thoughts. One of them is to ignore, correct? But this one is not just about evil thoughts. This is about all thoughts. Yeah? There are some meditation teachers who say, when you meditate, don't think, just be aware, don't think. Okay, don't think means whether good thoughts or bad thoughts, don't think. Okay, so this one, to ignore thoughts, is that anywhere in the suttas? I mean, all thoughts are not just evil, unwholesome thoughts. Anywhere in the sutta or implied in the sutta? 1, 2, 3? It's not even 3, you know. Commentary also never asks you to ignore all thoughts. Yeah. So it's 4. Push away thoughts, 4 also. Suppress all thoughts, 4 also. Okay, now go on to hindrances. Suppress hindrances. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you're getting the momentum of 4 already. Anything you don't know, and say 4 on the safe side. Samatha suppress the hindrance. Let me see. In the gradual training sequence that is mentioned somewhere here, 137, you look at the footnote N41. The gradual training sequence, starting from sila to sense restraint, to mindfulness and clear knowing, to containment, to seclusion, abandonment of the 5 hindrances, leading to samadhi, leading to attainment of the 4 jhanas. This one is found in many, many places. So here it seems that the hindrances are abandoned before samadhi is reached. But is this part of samatha practice? After samadhi is reached, then we go on to attainment of the 4 jhanas. So the nearest we can get is number 2, if we think that this one is a way of suppressing the hindrances, abandoning by suppression. And you could say also that in Vitakka-santhana Sutta, which is on page 64, the last method, the last strategy, after everything else fails, is to grit your teeth, press your tongue against your palate, and ask your mind to shut up. Okay? So that is also suppressing. And you could put hindrances under these, because hindrances are evil, unwholesome thoughts. So maybe you could say that this one is part of samatha practice. It's 2 because the word samatha is not used, but then you can see the sequence of samatha, the steps involved. The mind steadies, settles, unifies, and becomes composed. So 2. So both are 2. Ignore also is a method, is a third method. The first method is to substitute, the second is to reflect, the third is to ignore, the fourth is to still the urges, the volition involved before those thoughts arise, and the fifth one is to use your mind to suppress it actively. Okay, so, yes. Yeah, please come. No, suppressed thoughts are different. Hindrances are evil, unwholesome. Thoughts can be wholesome, can be unwholesome. Yeah. Okay, so before we go on to Vipassana, we take a look at this. Look at the popular notions of samatha. Most of them are just 3s and 4s, you know. Yeah, it's shocking, isn't it? Yeah? Most of them are, 2, 3, and 4. But it's only how many 1s? Only 2 1s. Most of them are 4 and 3s and 2s. How many 2s? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4 only. 4 2s. How many 3s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 3s. And how many 4s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7. My goodness. You see? You guys are now following the Buddha's teachings. All personal opinion. So now you all know how to rate. I think this is a very important tool for you. Yeah, you know how to rate. So next time, don't be gullible. Don't simply listen to what people say. Go and check in the suttas. Okay, now let's go on to Vipassana.